several years ago when we put out 911 in plain sight, Beck called us up to go on his program, and we had Dave go on with a photograph that he was supposed to be able to show on air. And before Dave could even get a chance to, provide some information and some examination, Glenn Beck calls him some kind of a Area 51 freak in comparison to an Elvis sighting. He's seeing Elvis out in the desert at Area 51.
No, but that's what they do. They just made up that I said space aliens were there in the newspaper.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
Gary Franchi, the producer, and the director, William Lewis, join us, Camp FEMA. We're going to be going to your phone calls right now. In fact, who's up next here in my list? Matthew in Oregon? Matthew in Oregon, then Nelson, Anthony, Kurt, Scott, and others. You're on the air with the makers of Camp FEMA. But they can speak about any issue. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Matthew McDaniel, and I'm a human rights activist for the Aka people in Thailand. And currently, I'm riding a horse across the United States from Salem, Oregon, and I'm about 10 miles west of Weatherford near Dallas. And I'm just amazed when I go through these small towns in Texas, Post, Texas, Snyder, Texas, and Anson, Texas, and I asked the little old lady, I said, hey, what's that uniform you got on? And she says, oh, it's a prison uniform. I work at the prison. And I said, what, you got a prison here? And he goes, yeah, it's just outside of town. I said, well, what do you think of that? She said, well, it's good for jobs. And I wonder if, they're using these small, falling apart communities for putting prisons in, and nobody can see them.
And it's not going to it's not going to get better. It's getting worse, and that's why they're passing laws. Go to jail for selling eggs, go to jail for garage sales, go to jail for babysitting neighbors' kids. They're making everything criminal and then telling neighbors to spy on neighbors because they've admitted the new economy is going to be in prison or managing the prison.
Well, did you see the article that said they're going to start fining bloggers if they put misinformation on their blog site?
Yes, I forgot to cover that. Government agency is going to fine you. It's going to decide what's true and what isn't. And absolutely, in the State Department, yes, and they're going to have a message that pops up saying your site's not accurate. I mean, if you say that Iraq didn't have WMDs, they're going to say you're evil and fine you because everybody knows they had nukes.
You have on your website one of my videos with the Aka people in northern Thailand.
Hold on. When you mention those people, yeah, they come and force them tetanus shot after tetanus shot till they have the miscarriage. So you're the guy that shot those videos.
Right, that's me.
Well,
and
good job.
I documented women who said I was forced to have 3 tetanus toxoid vaccinations during one pregnancy. And when I was 9 months pregnant, I got the vaccination, and the same day the baby stopped moving, and the baby came out about 8 hours later.
Yeah, you have woman after woman, and the UN has been caught. The UN has been caught sterilizing people through the shots. Yeah, you're only supposed to get 1 tetanus shot every 7 years. They give the women 3 special ones, but they found that tetanus is good to bind the female hormone to cause the miscarriage. That's what the UN's been. So they're murdering babies, which is what this calls for, forced abortion, White House science czar, and you're the guy. I'd like to have you on as a guest.
Well, it's the thing is they're focusing it on the minorities like the Aka Hill tribe, and we have all these videos on Aka.org, but they're focusing on the Hill tribe because, I'd ask the nurses, wait, you have a tetanus shot every 7 years. Why are you making the women come in for 3 shots during each pregnancy? And they're telling the women, if you don't, then there's no ID card for your baby.
That's right. No welfare, no money. Yeah, they use the welfare to get to kill them, yeah.
And so what we're doing now is we're doing a national protest march about the human rights conditions of the Akas. By going across the U.S. by horseback. My wife, she's Aka, and we got 5 little kids in a bus that says Ride for Freedom. And, the other thing we got a big problem with is all these American missionaries going to northern Thailand and taking away Aka kids and telling their churches that they're orphans, if you want to see a big fraud in action.
Well, child kidnapping is what America does. We kidnap our own kids. We kidnap everybody else's kids. Hell, they're lucky they just don't go to Iraq and just murder everybody. I mean, that's what we do. We poison our own people, we murder everybody, and we make TV ads celebrating ourselves, saying how good we are. Sir, I'm going to put you on hold. Give me your name and info. I recognize your voice from the videos. Great job you're doing. We should have you on sometime from a landline about what's going on there. We're going to come back with Gary Franchi and William Lewis of Camp FEMA, continue talking about their film, Camp FEMA-American Lockdown, available at Infowars.com. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen, and we're continuing taking your phone calls with Gary Franchi and, of course, the director of the film, William Lewis, Camp FEMA. Guys, shifting gears, they have all these different excuses to set up a police state. Shadowy men want to kill you overseas. We got to set up Homeland Security. Then we get the documents. Homeland Security set up for the American people. Brigade Homeland. You cover all that in Camp FEMA. Now they're saying, oh, yes, we want to forcibly inoculate you. They're admitting the first 10 million people are going to get a nasal spray of a live virus that spreads it. That's mainstream news. I mean, this is getting crazier and crazier and crazier by the minute.
Alex, I just got an email here from one of your listeners, and he says that he was one of the early birds who pre-ordered Camp FEMA, considering that this kind of subject matter can be difficult to present in a way that can be digested by ordinary people. He thought that it would be another movie that could only show to a small percentage of his friends. But he says, after watching Camp FEMA, he says, I'd like to give you both the very highest acknowledgement for making a truly great film. Your presentation is methodical, easy to follow. The historical perspective is well-researched and extremely valuable in understanding how government has come to where it currently is. The facts are solid and irrefutable. I feel you have made a brilliant film. Talking with normal Americans about FEMA camps is a difficult thing. However, you've presented it in a way here that people will understand. Thank you so much. I hope to be going and getting more copies soon to show to friends.
Well, that's what I made the Obama deception to do, is to shatter the left-right paradigm, to show people how both parties are controlled. And you do this in a matter of fact, like mainline television. Here's the history of FEMA. Here's Congress. Here's what they're doing. They admit the camps because they admit it out of one side of their mouth, but in a good light, and then deny it when we say we don't want camps. And so you really expose that. Continue.
Well, I will say it's not an easy topic to cover. William, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that, we break the film down into FEMA's three basic prime directives. Their directive number one is national emergency recovery, like tornadoes, floods, earthquakes. We go in and take a look at how they've done at those jobs in the past and give them a grade. And then we go in and look at their other directive, which is continuity of government, protecting the country from terrorism and nuclear attacks and things of that nature that they've been doing for 30-some-odd years now. How have they done on that? And then finally, Directive 3, which is a good portion of the documentary, which this one is combating perceived threats to the existing social and political order. And, we didn't just make that up. We didn't just pull that out of a hat. That phrase, the existing social and political order and the threat that they perceive to it, is listed throughout the documentation that we found in Senate Select Committee hearings, FBI documentation, and this mimics what we see in the Department of Homeland Security report and the MIAC reports. So this is nothing new. It's just laid out in a way where people can, for the first time, put those puzzle pieces together in a way that makes sense.
So what do we do about the FEMA camps? I mean, they're just building this whole infrastructure, turning our whole society into a prison. It's all admitted, but they're still in denial.
We have to resist at every corner. We have to resist at every corner, critical mass, spreading information. Alex, it's about waking up the people. That's the bottom line. Without an informed populace, and without winning the court of public opinion, we're going to lose this battle. I commend you, Alex, for the work you're doing, for the films you're putting out, for the message you're hitting home to people. It's a collective effort across a spectrum of the movement, to wake up the American people, to get us organized, to get us activated, and taking back this country. That's what we got to do.
Well, all I know is it's clear that we have a criminal establishment in control setting up a scientific dictatorship, and things are only going to get worse until people say no. the biggest issue is the worship of police, the worship of surveillance in the media, as if these are the modern heroes, greater than Michael Jordan, greater than John Wayne. I mean, it's really sick. It's predatory. There's all these reports of police robbing people all over the country, don't even get in trouble. I know they're good police, but they're mainly used as the cover by the corrupt system itself to continue operating.
Well, up in Canada, there was a friend of mine who uncovered a drug smuggling operation by the Ontario police named Scott Loper. They threw him into a prison. They tortured him for 4 years and never provided him access to the embassy or the State Department. Violated international treaty. So, the corruption is worldwide, Alex, and you know this.